Hello and welcome to Spread That Joy, episode 4. This is your host, Brian Grayson, and this week we're speaking with Dean is Home, a Berlin-based recording artist and busking musician from Bulgaria. Hope you enjoy the show. All right. Hello, Dean.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Hey, nice to be here, man.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Brian. Yeah.
Yeah, you have so much energy all the time. This is your your special ingredient, you know.
I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, I feel I have a lot of energy today. I slept good and I ate good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went to bed late though. You said you were doing some night performing.
Yes. Last night I was busking in one of my usual spots in Berlin, in Warschauer Straße. It was Halloween, so I had to capitalize from all the drunk people. And I try to come as early as possible to show up in the podcast in a nice condition. Yep. And I came home around 2.
Yeah, and Dean bought a new guitar. He's going to test it out if we're lucky.
Yeah, I just got this thing today because I need something that can work, and this thing works. So anyway, it's easy.
Yeah. Cheap. Dean is Bulgarian.
Yeah. From
which city again?
Okay, I come from Bulgaria. Bulgaria is a little country in the Balkans, for the podcast listeners. In Eastern Europe, I come from the mountains. My city is called Vratsa, and it's approximately like 100 kilometers from the capital, Sofia. And it's a place with a lot of caves, a lot of bats. Yeah, very nice places to climb. A lot of beautiful mountains, and it's a rough city.
Yeah. You say rough, you mean crime and poverty and things like that?
I mean, like compared to what you compare to, Bulgaria is part of European Union, but it's one of the countries with the most, income is not very high, and police is not very strong in Bulgaria. You can say you can pretty much do everything you want on the street, and you can get away with it. And it's like it's more primitive than West Europe and Western world. It's almost like Poland in a way. For the podcast listeners that are from Germany or West Europe, the States, it's a bit like Poland. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my city, you know how the cities that are in the mountains are always a little bit more isolated, mm-hmm. more traditional, mm-hmm. because you have the mountains and people are doing traditional stuff. Can I curse on the podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to know.
Yeah. Dean has a persona of kind of being a rebel or
come on.
He goes against the grain, you know, for kind of like anti-establishment sort of motto, you know?
Hey, I take it as a compliment. Well, I'm just doing my thing. All my life I'm doing my thing, and should I say, for the beginning, I'm a musician who lives in Berlin at the moment. I'm making one-man shows. I'm playing almost every day somewhere on the street, I'm trying to play in bars as well, as much as possible. And I'm recording a lot of music at home. And nice to hear from you that you see this drive. I think everything started from the place I'm born. And should I say more about this place?
Yeah. Speak about your introduction into music.
I'm gonna do a little
how you were inspired to start.
That's a good way to say it. Yeah, a little introduction. My home city is a very poor and violent place. So what I mean by that is if you have a little bit of a different hairstyle, if you listen to a little bit of a different music, you get a lot of bullies coming to you and wanting to fight you. And I grew up listening to different music, alternative music. I had long hair. I used to do skateboards and all this stuff, and rock music, which was not popular in where I'm from. It was not popular. So, and fuck the phone. No, shit. I think my phone is off.
It might have been not yours.
Okay, I'm just gonna make sure it's off. Okay. Anyway, the place was a little bit rough, And growing up there, I had to. When I was 13, I used to get people screaming at me when I was going to my school. Hey, long hair boy, I'm gonna come and cut your hair. Cut this stupid hair, blah blah blah. Yo, rock boy, come here, and groups of boys screaming at you. Mm-hmm. And a little introduction how I started the whole music stuff is. Firstly, my grandmother signed me into a choir when I was 6 years old, and this didn't go very well with my parents because my father is a very traditional Bulgarian man who grew up in the mountain and never left the mountain. He always spent his life in the city. Mm-hmm. And my mother is a little bit more cultural person, more open-minded, more traveling. But my father is very traditional, so he didn't want me to be a musician at all. He wanted me to be a doctor and he wanted me to be a sports star or whatever. Mm-hmm. So when I started doing the choir stuff, my father was against it. And later on, my parents put me into a lot of sports. I did basketball for the school, and for the city, and swimming and karate and whatever shit like this. And when I was doing a lot of video games, we were growing up with a lot of video games. And when I come from a normal family, my mother and my father, they were both working in a pharmacy, so we had a kind of middle kind of lifestyle for where I was growing up. But the plans for my parents were for me to become a stable, traditional man mm-hmm. who brings money on the table. And I get fortunate enough to have a computer very early on, and I started doing video games. And one game that took my attention was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, mm-hmm. which was a simulator of skateboarding and stuff like this. I started playing this when I was 12. And the thing that made the most impression on me was the soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of punk rock and rock music on the soundtrack that I never heard anything like this before. And this was basically the thing that took me into music. I first got my skateboard and I started hanging up with skateboard kids in my city. And in my city, the division was like this. You have the punk and skateboards, Rasta, hip-hop, alternative kids, and on the other hand you have skinheads, Nazi people, metalheads, mm-hmm. and they basically don't like us. So I started hanging up with skaters and punk rock people, and I had this skinhead Nazi people trying to harass us when we were 13 daily. Basically I wanted to play a guitar after this soundtrack, and I found my guitar teacher in the city. And I spoke to my parents to get to this lesson. They didn't want me to do that, but I was very serious, and they didn't want to get me a guitar. And they were giving me money every week to buy breakfast in school. And I started saving up a little by little. And one day I was like, yo, I have this money. I want to get a guitar. I want to play music. I want to do this thing. Let's go. And they were like, okay, you're very fucking serious, so let's do it. And I get lessons and I get guitar, and I was very lucky on the second guitar class. I met two other boys that were also my age, and they wanted to have a band with me. And 13 years old, I already was in a band. I was a bass player. For one summer, we found a drummer and everything. I decided I want to play guitar. I left them, and I was very lucky because in my small little traditional mountain city, we had quite a few bands playing music from young to old, and everyone was playing punk rock, loud music. Mm-hmm. And I had people to look up to, and I had people that were on my level. So it was a very nice growing ground. 13 years old, there was three bands like my band, mm-hmm. and we were all playing on events mm-hmm. from 13, and we had a place to rehearse. Mm-hmm. So I started doing this through the whole high school. I did biology and chemistry high school so I can be a doctor later. And my parents were putting me into this thing, and I had to make a very strong decision when I was about to go to college, which my girlfriend helped me a lot about. I remember I had a girlfriend for 5 years in high school, and I was never happy studying chemistry and biology. I was never happy. I was very miserable because it was not what I love. And I remember one day I was sitting with her in bed, and she asked me, well, if you don't want to do it, why are you doing it? And I was like, well, I don't know what else to do, because my parents want me to do that. And she's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to study music. She was like, well, why don't you do it then? And it's one of my pivotal moments in my life, because it's one thing to think about something that you want. It's one thing to talk about it with your friends, but it's another thing if there's a girl that you love that is sitting in front of you and asks you, can you do what you say you want to do, or are you not? So it's like for me, this was the ultimate, are you doing it or not? Mm-hmm. And I said, fuck, I'm doing it. And I switched completely. And my father was pissed. My father didn't talk to me for 2 years when I ditched the biology shit, and he didn't want to support me. He didn't want to give me any money for college and shit. Like, he was like, yo, you end up, poor and broke, and you're gonna be a beggar. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna be a beggar. He was like, well, what are you gonna be? Show me one successful musician. And we didn't have in my city. We didn't have anyone that was doing only music and was successful. And I didn't know anyone who was doing it full time. And it was this scary thing that you want to be doing something that you believe in, but you don't have any examples that you know. You don't know. You cannot say, I'm going to be like Tom, who's the great guitarist. There was not people like this. Mm-hmm. Like, my guitar teacher was doing a construction job part-time. And all the bands. Anyway, so I went to music university, and it was difficult. I went to the capital. This was how I was introduced to music in my life, through my environment in Bulgaria, in my home city, and through all the bands that were around and the band that I was playing in. I was very lucky that I started doing this very early in my life, 13 years old. But the biggest thing that changed my life and put me into direction is the thing that happened when I was 21 years old, which was my life in the States. Mm-hmm. I want to say a few things about this, because if there's I'm 26 years old right now. I didn't see that much of this life yet, but if there's one thing that really I want to share with the people, and the thing that one thing that changed my life, it was my strongest pivotal moment, was my life in the States, which was completely on the other side of the coin to where I grew up. It was the other polarity of where I was used to. And you're from the States too, right? Which state are you from?
I'm from Portland, Oregon, on the West Coast. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
You ended up there in New York State. I assume, right?
Man.
And you went there on a tourism visa, or did you have connections that led you there through study, or what was your impulse to go?
Well, Bulgaria is a little bit tricky with visas to America. Mm-hmm. Basically, we cannot just take an airplane and go there. One way that is very popular, the easiest way for somebody with my passport, with Bulgarian passport, to go to America is to do a student's work and travel. Mm-hmm. The visa is called J1. And it's specifically 6 months visa that you can get if you're a student, with the help of your university and with the help of another company. So basically, you need to be... they want to know that you're not going to stay there. Mm-hmm. So they want to know that you have at least 1 year more in university back in your home mm-hmm. country. They want to know if your grades are good. Mm-hmm. They want to know if you have a family, if you have a life back in Bulgaria or whatever you come from. And after my first year in university, the real reason I went to the States was because I had a very bad breakup with a girl. I wanted to go as far away as possible. But that's a different topic for a different podcast. But yeah, I wanted to go to the States, and I found a company that works with students. You basically like a sponsor agency that you pay a lot of money. It's a rip-off, complete rip-off. You pay them like €1,000, and they basically find you very bad job mm-hmm. and a place to sleep, and and they make a Skype interview. Mm-hmm. So basically, I get a job working in upstate New York, in a little city called Saratoga Springs, close to Albany, the capital of New York State. And my job there was I was working in a golf court. I was cutting grass, and it was hard, heavy hands work, and basically you go there and you work with heavy hard men that they don't care about you. They don't give a shit about anything. They just go do their work and they go home, and they don't want to speak to you. And they're over 40 years old, most of them. You sleep with all the workers all together in one house, and you jump in a truck, and they drove you to the fucking golf court every morning. You wake up at 4:30 every morning. You're at work at 5:30 you start working, and you basically cutting grass 4 hours, then you're planting flowers for some time, then you're driving some heavy things from here to there every day. It was every day. We had one day off, but the boss didn't want us to take this day off. And I was working this thing for 4 weeks before I get fired, and the real adventure became when they fired me, because I lost my apartment, and I didn't speak English very well when I went there. My English was very bad. I hardly could have keep a conversation going. The story was like this. After 3 weeks of hard work and miserable life, which you work every day, you don't speak to anybody because you're cutting grass every day, so you don't speak to anyone, and you're getting insane because back at home you come from like a university, from like a big friends circle where you used to playing with musicians, talking to people, going out, meeting girls, whatever you like, and then you just jump to this completely different thing. You know what I mean? So I was getting a bit insane, and I met only 2 people in the whole country, and one girl that was working in a mall, and one guy that was playing guitar in the park. And when I met the guy in the park, he asked me to join them on a party. I went on that party. On that morning, after the party, all the workers went to work, and we were sleeping all in one room, like army, like prisoners. But I was drunk from the party, and they didn't wake me up. They just left me, and I took a taxi to the fucking job, and my boss came and laughed at me and said, "They driving you home, you clean up the room, and you're back to Bulgaria." And I was like, "Wow, shit, it's just like one month since I'm here, and my parents spent so much money for me to come here, and now I cannot fly back, and what am I gonna do?" And I'm going back to the house. He drives me back and tells me, "Free the room," and I'm driving you to the station, to the bus station. And I was like, "Fuck!" And it's fucking 7:30 in the morning, and I'm calling the girl. She's sleeping. I'm calling the guy, and he came to help me out. And I don't want to do the story too long and too detailed, but basically I didn't have a place to stay, and I didn't have any money saved up, so I couldn't afford a normal apartment. And with my visa requirements, I had to find a new place to work. I had to find a new place to stay, a new job, and I didn't have any money, and I didn't speak English. So I made a fake resume, and I started applying for every job in the city possible. And I found myself a cleaning job and a serving job in a restaurant, and I didn't have a place to stay. So I found this homeless shelter, and I heard about it from a street musician, and I was thinking I'm gonna be staying there for just a weekend to save the weekend, but I ended up living there for almost five months.
5 months.
Yeah, and it was a changing experience for me. I come from a shitty city, hard city in Bulgaria, but I was never hungry in my life, and I was never homeless in my life, and I always had the normal things. And I end up in a place where they were switching new people every 4 weeks, every 3 weeks. There were people coming from prison, coming from very broken homes, people coming from mental houses, and it was a very different thing for me. And I really cherish this part of my life because I think I learned what is important in life. I didn't have a lot of the luxury thing that we have every day. I had to leave my house every morning because there was curfew. You cannot stay there in the daytime. You need to leave every day. You have time that you need to be home. You need to clean every morning. You many things, but I learned how to live through those struggles, and I think this made me a better man. This was the thing that changed my life in the States. I faced my fear of being on the streets, and I overcome it. And I also saw amazing musicians in that city. We were lucky. I was lucky to be in this. Saratoga Springs is a place with so many musicians and a completely different culture towards music. You see, in Saratoga, there's one big street, main street, that there was musicians every 15 meters, and you meet a beautiful random girl in the bar. She's playing ukulele or a banjo, and she's writing songs. You meet another random guy. He's playing the double bass and he's playing the mandolin. Everyone is playing some kind of a acoustic instrument. Huge acoustic culture there, and this changed me. And I saw one friend of mine. He was playing a mandolin on the street. He recorded an album with his iPad, and later that year he gets signed through a label. And this blew my mind because in my head, to record an album, you need equipment, you need a studio, you need a lot of money, you need to be somebody, you need to meet somebody. And these people, just normal people, showed me how they do it with nothing. And I realized I can do that. And when I came back to Bulgaria, I came with so much more, I was a lot more brave. And I decided I can do everything. And I tried to test that theory. What I did was I recorded my first album myself, and I start attacking my life from a different perspective. Not from like before that. When we grow up, our perspective most of the times is the perspective that our parents or our friends are putting on us, and the city that we grow up. This is my perspective, your perspective, what we have, because this is what you know. This is what you know. This is what they teach you. This is your perspective. But in the States, in that city, without my family, without my friends, without my room and everything, I realize I can attack life from a different perspective, from perspective that I don't have anything to lose. And if everything goes down, I already seen that. Because I already been in a place that I cannot afford a hostel. I already been in a place that I don't have any friends. I was already in a place that, I don't speak the language. So I didn't give a shit what's gonna happen. And I started doing different things. I applied for a scholarship in Germany for studying. I was studying in University of Music. I was studying percussion as a drummer and recording. And I applied for a scholarship in Germany as a percussionist, and I got it. And I was like, wow, everything I can apply for, I can get, because we can actually. We can. Nothing is stopping you. Nothing is stopping me from getting what I want. Why I shouldn't get it? It's there. And if I reach and I grab it, it's mine. And it sounds very silly coming from 26-year-old guy because I didn't see anything yet. But I really believe that. And I really believe that when I came from the States after this experience. And I didn't see very hardships in my life yet. Like some people. But yeah, anyway, I get a scholarship in Germany, and I tried different things that I was very afraid and that I really loved. For example, I did paragliding back in Bulgaria, which was something that I was all my life afraid of. I was afraid of heights all my life. And those little stepstones that I kind of hit before gave me the confidence to attack something bigger and scarier. Blah blah blah. I can talk about it a lot, but I did paragliding course for 20 days, and I fly from very high mountains by myself, and this
by
made me
yourself. You were the
myself.
pilot in a solo plane.
Not plane, a paraglider.
Paraglider. Okay.
Paraglider is basically, for the listeners, it looks like a parachute, but it's not. It looks like a parachute, but it's constructed differently. And with this thing, you glide and you can go up, not only down. So basically, if you think about those birds that you see on the warm hot day near the mountain or near a chimney or on the seaside, you see those big birds just spreading their wings and they're doing a circle, and they're not flying, they're just in a circle, or they're going up or down, whatever. This is what the paraglider is doing. They're using the hot waves of the hot wind, because the hot wind goes upwards, and they're riding. It's called thermal wind. And basically you go from the edge of a mountain and you fly. Anyway, and I went to Germany to study there, and this is where I first saw that it's possible to get money from music and you can sustain your life full-time from music. I was fortunate enough to meet a German band, cover band from Essen, West Germany, that asked me to join them, and I did. And we just played full-time for 6 months, and I made all my money from playing on the street and private gigs, and I was like, wow, shit, that thing is actually possible. Because when you're a kid, you think that to be a musician, it's kind of I used to think that, okay, you're nobody, and then one day somebody presses a button and you become somebody, and then you have money. And if you don't become somebody, you don't have money. And it's not like this in real life. You don't need to be somebody to live from your music. It is possible. You need to find a way to do it, but people are doing it. And I joined a working band, and we were playing on the street and playing in bars, and that's it, with a van. And I was like, wow, that shit is crazy. It's possible. They're doing it, and fueled my motivation like crazy. I finished my education in Bulgaria, and I realized, okay, where else can I go doing music? And I was like, let me go to one of those ship gigs, because when you go to music school, everyone is talking about those cruise liner gigs. Because imagine this: you're a 20-year-old musician and you're thinking about music all day, but you want to make money and you want to pay your bills. And your parents are pushing you, hey, when you're gonna get a job? Like, what are you gonna do? Are you continue working in this bar forever? How are you gonna make money? And you hear about those people that go on those cruise ships for 1, 2, 3 months, 6 months, and they make a lot of money, and then they come back and they go on another ship and whatever. And it's kind of mysterious. And I was like, wow, how can I be one of those mysterious people working on a ship? And how I get that job was, should I say about job? I don't know.
How did you get it? Yeah.
Basically, I was in Bulgaria. The musicians that play on the ships are the only musicians that actually make money. Because if you go to a country with a lower income, busking on the streets, you're barely eating. It's very tricky because you cannot buy your strings, right? You work one day in a bar and you make 15 euros. Right. So anyway, I was playing on all those open mic sessions in the capital in Bulgaria, and I was having my ear checking who's doing what. And I heard about this guy who's working on the ships. Like, wow, let me shadow him. I'm gonna see where he is. I'm gonna go where he is. I'm gonna try to become his friends because I want to learn from him. Right. And I was lucky enough. He also liked me. We started talking. We met on a few jam sessions, and he told me his band is actually looking for a drummer. And I was like, amazing, why don't you take me? And, it takes a lot of confidence to fucking attack like this. And I was like, okay, are you ready? I was like, okay, check me up. And he called the band manager. It was like, I was very lucky in that moment, because how those ships work are, there is a company, there is an agency that is in your home country most of the time. For example, I come from Bulgaria. There's a Bulgarian agency that is working in the ships on Norway. So they have the contacts with the ships and with the venues, and you meet them, the agency, and you need to impress them. And then they tell you there's an opening here, opening there, and usually those things happen a year in the future. So you need to have a band working. You need to register to the company. And usually they make in Bulgaria 3 times a year there is a review kind of a thing. So 3 times a year in the spring there is a date. You sign up, you go there, you play your best, you have your video, you have usually on those ships you play a lot of cover music. Like you need to have at least 150 songs in all the genres. And you present your band and they tell you you're great or you shit, work on more and come next year. If they say you're good, then they tell you there is an opening in 6 months on that ship for that money. Do you want to take it? And when you say yes, that's a 6 months in the future agreement. And the band that I joined already did all of that, but 2 months before the ship, the drummer left them. So they had a very, very quick reaction had to do. They had to do a very quick reaction. And they were checking, like for 1 week, they were checking drummers, a lot of drummers for all around the country actually. And I had to impress them, and I never did that before. And I think the reason I got that job was because I was very motivated. I wanted to get a job. I really wanted it. I remember before I did the interview with the band member, I had this night. It was a late night. I just went on a walk in the summer, and I was making a recording on my phone, like a vocal recording, like a little journal, telling why I want that job. Like 1 hour, I was walking and talking to my phone and like explaining to myself, affirming why I want that job and why I'm gonna get that job, why I'm the person who's gonna get that job. And you attack it with 100% confidence. And I think I also show them that I can play a little bit of guitar, I can sing a little bit, I can play a little bit of harmonica. I remember on my review day with the band, I prepared a little trick for them. What they did is they told me the day before, learn those 2 songs and tomorrow we're playing them. And I learned them, and I got a harmonica, mount harmonica in the key of one of the songs, and I prepared a little trick. So when we were playing the song, I was playing the drums, right? So the guitars did the solo, and after the guitars did the solo, the singer was about to jump in, but I took the harmonica from my pocket and I flipped and I started making a solo on the drum set while keeping the drum beat with my feet and with one of the hands. And the whole band just like turned around and started looking at me like, what the fuck is happening? And I did a solo. I did a good solo. And I was like, wow, this guy had a few tricks that he didn't tell us. And they was like, can you sing? And I was like, sure, let me show you. Sing me a song. And basically they took me, and I had to learn a lot of songs for a very short time. And I went on that ship in Norway, from Oslo to Kiel. And it's a very hard job to do manually. We did 5 sets every night. We played for 5 hours every night. And it's all notation. The band leader gives you the notes and the tempos, and there's no improvisation, there's no doing what you like. As a drummer, I was playing with a click track, and every song was like, 77, BPM, or 118, whatever. And I do it, and I had also the set of harmonicas next to me, so, I was doing solos from the drums back there. And I was singing a few songs as well with the guitar, so the singer can take a little break, because 5 hours every night, you get fucked up, and everyone in the band must sing, because everyone's helping each other. And big moment of my life was being on that ship, because I saw fantastic musicians working there. Fantastic on that ship. It was 17 decks. Huge, like Titanic, with a few bands playing every night. And I remember very vividly on that ship, I realized that I want to be a musician. And before I went on that ship, I was doing music, but I was trying different things. I didn't know who I am. I was 23 years old, 23, 24, and when you're 24, you want to flirt with life a little bit, right? You want to try this, you want to try that, you want to have a relationship, you don't want to have a relationship, you want to be a musician, you want to be a photographer, whatever, you want to do this, that, you want to travel. But on that ship, I saw that all those musicians, they were doing only one thing, and I realized that's why they're so good. They don't do anything else. That's all. They're dedicated their life to one thing, to be a very good musician. And I wanted to be like them. And I realized that the only way to do it is to dump all the other shit out of my life and to focus on one thing. And that's what I did, you know. On that trip, I realized that in order to go to make music, you need to locate yourself in a good environment, because your environment is so important. You need to go to a city that there is a culture of the thing that you want to do, and you need to really stay there. If you keep going back and forth, well, yeah, I don't want to. If I go too much into one details, please stop me and tell me to go on topic, because I can let myself go.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's all leading up to your
Coming here,
your life in Berlin, and when you decided to do it and commit your life to this one thing and put all your eggs in that basket. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You said it perfectly. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I realized that you need to go in one place and invest. It's an investment, and but that investment can be only done if you really know what you want. You know, one of my most like every person has some, you know, people that they follow, their idols, whatever. One of the people that really inspires me for my life, he's a YouTuber. His name is Casey Neistat, and he says that we need to only be doing two things in life. There are only two things that are important to do. One thing is to figure out what is your most passionate, what are you most passionate about, and the second thing is to realize that passion. And the first thing is much harder than the other thing. It's much more difficult to really understand and find out who are you, what is your character, what is your you know, what are you good at, what is your thing. And you know, when you know what you want, you just go and take it, and you spend all your energy and all your effort, and you either get very close or you die trying, whatever, but you're happy. Right? And most people don't do the first thing, and that they're miserable. We all know those people. We have those people in our lives that they work a job that they hate, and they're stuck. You know, they're stuck, and it's getting more and more. You know, when I was living in the capital for some time, I was living with my aunt, and you can say she's a successful woman. She works a high-paying job in a bank. She has a good status of life, and she's miserable. She's 55 years old right now, and she hates her life. She hates her job. She doesn't hate her life, but she hates her job. And you know, living for the weekend is not life worth living, in my opinion. You need to have something more to do. And if she took the decision earlier to realize what she wanted, she was going to have a different life now. And you know, we need to figure out what we love. We need to figure out what we love. We need to figure out what is our character and what is our DNA. And it comes from trial and error. You know, I think in our 20s, early 30s, that's our mission in a way. You know, that's our mission. We're not living in wartime. We're not living in a complete, you know, difficult starvation. So we can spend a lot of energy into progressing in different areas in life. And I think that we need to figure out in that time, you know, 20, early 30s, you try attack life as much as possible, and you figure out what is the thing that gives you the most joy. You realize the thing that gives you the most joy, and then you go all in there. And that's how you get it. And this is my first advice for every teenager doesn't know what they want in life, but they don't know what they want to do. You finish university, you don't know what you want. Nobody knows. When I speak to every random 19-year-old girl, they don't know what they want. They have no fucking idea. Well, they didn't try anything yet. They need to try stuff. Try different things. See what makes you happy. And when you found what makes you happy, just go directly and see what's gonna happen. And you know, nothing really bad can happen. in your 20s to get you out of this trajectory. Like, what I mean by that is that if you lose money, it's not a big deal. You're 20 something, 30 something years old. Very successful people in life, they bankrupted one or many times, and a lot of them, they were poor as fuck in their early 30s, and they get up. Like, it's one thing to be 26 or 30 and to to fuck up and go from zero again. You don't have money for your rent and get back up. It's a completely different thing when you're 50, and it's all experience that is very fucking valuable right now, that then you invest into your other thing. And I think a 40-year-old man or a woman that was completely broke in their early 30s because they tried and they found their passion, and now they know, it's a lot more valuable than a 40-year-old man or a woman that is safe and have no idea what they want. You know what I mean? So figure out what you want, try not to get into debt, try to stay healthy, but who gives a shit if you spend all your money to move up to Berlin, for example, to be a musician or a painter or a photographer, and you're supposed to be hungry. You're supposed to live with fucking 5 roommates in a small place and struggle. You're supposed to do that. Because then this becomes your norm, and then everything that comes on top is a bonus, is a benefit, and you're never afraid to get back to this. I'm never afraid to live in a shitty little room. I was living in a fucking 8 square meters room where I was able to touch all my walls, and I was completely comfortable.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, this is, when you leave your home country and you take a leap of faith and anytime you're forced to adapt to a new situation and, go through trials of adulthood, through facing obstacles, like, I don't have opportunity to play, I don't have this and that. These all force you to get through and to rise above it, because it's either adapt and succeed or go down,
let me ask you, what do you think is the worst that can happen? Like, what's the worst that can actually happen?
I mean, as you said, all it can lead you is to the point where you're on the street alone, and you've already faced that. For me, I've faced many things that have led me to the point where I felt like I had nothing left. And once you know that you can get through that, it does give you power.
It's also so fucking bad. I was in a shelter, I was eating in a church every day, but it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah, and now your mission is, all right, I want to write music, perform music, play in different countries, and travel the world. Is that your mission, or do you have like a short-term goal that is more specific?
Yeah. I think you said it. Yeah, it's this is my big mission. My big mission is I have this dream to play 200 shows a year. For the next 10 years, whatever. I'm 26. I want to be playing music live extensively for the next 10 years of my life, if I can. And I have also short little goals. I try to look like a little trick I did was on a ship. I try to see my life 10 years from now, and then from there I start going backwards, and I realize, okay, if I want to be there in 10 years, where should I be in 5 years? Where should I be in 3 years? And where should I be in 1 year? I was like, oh fuck, then I need to move to Berlin now. This is when I made the decision, came here. And now in my life I realized that to be a good musician, I want to know how to be a good musician. What I mean is, like, I want to be good in the fucking mechanics of it. And the best musicians, in my opinion, that I saw was people that they know how to play their thing very well. And I'm not talking about being a very good technical player at home. That's good. But what I mean is doing a lot of shows, doing a ton of shows, doing a ton of recordings. Last year, I had this dream, magic idea that I want to play 300 shows last year. I was just like 300 shows. I'm gonna play 300 shows this year, and I came so maniac, like crazy. I had all those. I made those calendars that I put on my walls with all the days of the year. And every day that I play a show, I make a dot inside the thing. And also I write a lot of journals. I write for the last 6 years. I write, and this helps me stay sane, not flip up. And I started putting those dots in the calendar last year, and I hit them. I hit more than 300 shows last year. And what I mean, if I played 2 different shows today, I count it as 2 shows. For example, 2 different locations of the city is 2 shows for me, because you carry the equipment, you set up, you play the set, you finish, you take everything, you go to another show. It's 2 shows. I'm very lucky. I found busking, street music. At the moment, I'm full-time street musician. This is how I pay my rent. I buy everything. I don't get any money from government, from my parents, from many other things, and it's perfect match for me, because this way I kind of hit a few rabbits with one bullet, because in the same time I'm playing a lot of shows, because I want, for my practice, for my fitness, to go and do it every day. At the same time I'm getting paid, because at least you're making something. The worst days. And I can play my instruments. I want in the future close future, I want to diverse this a little bit, and to have maybe less shows but more quality shows. But I think the best way to do it is to be ready for it. And to be ready for it, you need to, we are musicians, and you can normal people, when they see a musician playing somewhere, they can make an opinion. I like him or I don't like him. But why you don't like him. Because you can spot the little difference in the little details, that you can see if they don't sing correct, they don't sing well, or they don't play well, whatever. And if they don't practice that song very well. If this is their first show of the month. And to be able to be good, you need to get at the practice. We all saw those musicians that are famous on the YouTube or on TV, and you watch them live, and that they suck. And I don't want to be like them.
Your live show is definitely your that's where you've invested your energy and effort, even though you do record, and you can find Dean on Spotify. Dean is home
everywhere.
He's got a lot of music online, and I've always been impressed by how well he can record and what he can do. He's quite a versatile musician, plays the piano and composes, and for someone to be able to transfer his skill set in so many ways, I've found it to be quite inspiring.
Hey, thanks so much for saying all these things. I think that I have a lot of stuff to learn and to make them better, but I work the same way with the recording as I do with the live shows. I think that a recorded song is better than not a recorded song. And it's like, what the word that can happen, man? Like, you record a song, you put it on the internet. What's the word that can happen? That somebody tells you that it's shit. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I like it. And I think we are so blessed right now. With the thing that you're probably watching the podcast on, you can make a fucking album with this shit. And you can make an album with your phone, you can make an album with your iPad, you can make an album with your laptop, you don't need that much stuff. And we have all these excuses that we need that and that. We don't need that shit. And in the same way, you get better when you do it. And it's very fun, actually. It's very fun to put your idea into something and see what's going to happen. Most of the time it turns out something completely different. And I'm putting a lot of stuff on Spotify. Last year, with 300 shows a year, I had another crazy idea to make an album every month. And I did it for a lot of months. I couldn't complete the whole year. But I think I did around 7 albums last year.
Really? And these are some a cover album.
Well,
Is that
yeah,
right?
I did a cover album this year because I was busking and people wanted to buy the thing that they're hearing.
Exactly.
But you know, when your goal is to make an album every month, you're kind of forcing yourself to produce, and maybe you don't want to make any more love songs, right? And you want to make an angry song and maybe an angry album. And this is how I did it with albums last year. I tried to put them in different categories. There was like a spring album. I did a piano album that was completely different to my live show. No guitars, no drum machines, no singing, nothing. It was just piano. And I had a little girlfriend last year from Russia that inspired me a lot to play piano. And the album is called Russian Girl. So,
nice.
Song about her.
It's only about her. The whole album is for her.
Yeah,
all right.
completely.
See,
and now I'm trying to make Russian Girl too.
Yeah.
But maybe I need to go to Russia.
Yeah, you need to find another.
I found
bell.
already.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah.
Dean has a fancy for Russian girls, right?
Yeah, I think. I like Slavic girls somehow a lot. Maybe they remind me of my mother.
Yeah, it could be.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a Russian album too. Yeah, the moment I'm trying to finish 3 different albums at the same time, which is something that is not good to do. Don't do it. Put your mind into one thing and do it, because now I'm stretching it. It takes me a lot of time to do it. I'm trying to do 3 albums at the same time. Russian Girl 2, my new punk album, and a sampled electronic new for me experimental album.
Nice.
Fuck.
Yeah.
A lot of
things.
shit.
Can you play us a tune on the guitar, Dean?
Of course. I can play something.
We're gonna play a few tracks here.
All right.
We're live in Berlin. We're in Charlottenburg in a quiet 5th-story flat.
Not gonna be super loud.
Dean's probably gonna wake up the neighbors if they're not.
I'm gonna
already.
blow my nose a bit away from the microphone for 1 second. I'm getting a bit sick this year. It's dropping to 2 degrees.
Yeah, it's already winter-esque. It's very dry. Feels like your skin is chafing all the time.
Yes. All right.
So this is Dean's. It's like a light version of what you would find on the street. Some sampling and some.
Oh
looping,
yeah, maybe something like this I'm gonna do. Yes.
So Dean is a legend on the Berlin busking scene. He's
What the
probably
fuck
the
is
most notable one of the last 3 or 4 years here. So you see him at Alexanderplatz, Warschauer Straße. Any other ones?
Well, I mainly play on Alexanderplatz and Warschauer Straße. Those are 2 places that, I mean, it's a different topic from a different podcast, but you're not allowed to play on the street in Berlin. And those places, you can kind of slide sometimes in the evening. I like to play in the nighttime, and I like to play shows with more volume. And this is where I can do it. All right.
Dean's gonna get the party started. It's Friday, almost Friday evening here.
All right. It's a very weird to not play in front of live people. I'm gonna imagine I'm on the street right now. All right. I'm gonna play one of my first songs I made in Berlin. This one goes to a girl from Slovakia that inspires a lot of my music, actually. And this song is called "I Need a Girl." Goes like this. I don't know you all that much. You've been here only 2 months, but I wake up with this thought. I wanna kiss you every night. You were so quiet, you were so calm. You were the opposite of mine. If I'm the sun, you were the night, but you're the reason I shine bright. I shine bright. Whoa, I shine bright. Whoa, I shine bright. Whoa, I shine bright. You need attention every day, but I'm always so far away. You don't know how to manage me, and I said, girl, trust me on this. We'll make it happen, we'll make it work. Let's take this walk in our park. We had no drama, we just let it be. When I'm with you, I feel complete. I feel complete. Whoa, I feel complete. Whoa, I feel complete. Whoa, I feel complete. Hey! Need a girl to be nice with me when I'm lonely, when I'm crazy. I need a girl that will always smile, even when I disappear for a while. Need a girl to be nice with me when I'm lonely, when I'm crazy. I need a girl that will always smile, even when I disappear for a while. Need a girl to be nice with me when I'm lonely, when I'm crazy. I need a girl that will always smile, even when I disappear for a while. I need a girl to be nice with me when I'm lonely, when I'm crazy. I need a girl that will always smile, even when I disappear for a while. I need a girl. Whoa, 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 I everything's gonna be alright, love. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright, love. Everything is gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. Gonna be alright, love. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright, love. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright, love. Everything's gonna be alright. I need a girl. Whoa, I need a girl. Whoa, it's gonna be alright. Yeah.
Dean,
Hey, shit. Yeah,
you got it. What up? That was awesome.
Cool. We did it. What? Alright. Maybe I should be playing something more quiet next time.
That was amazing. No, that was perfect volume. I love that. The loops were on point. This is a new guitar, everybody, for those who are watching.
Yeah,
Just got this.
I'm breaking everything I'm taking on the street, and I got something that can take the beating, and it's also not super expensive, so I'm very happy with this one. It's my new baby. I think I'm gonna give her a Polish name.
What is it gonna be?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna check my Polish models on Instagram. I'm following. I'm gonna choose. But all my guitars, they have female names. I know it's very cheesy. But I like girls, and I'm inspired by girls, and I see my instruments a little bit like that. My guitar I play for a very long time has a Bulgarian name. I dedicate her to my grandma actually. Her name is Tudorka, that is still alive, 96 years old.
What?
Like I can't wait to see her in the winter, in Christmas. So my first guitar goes to her because, my guitar is like her. Very strong, seen a lot, still going, completely strong, doesn't give a shit, do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a new guitar this year, my Russian guitar, it's called Masha. And it's very, very beautiful and magical. But it's too pretty to take on the dirty street.
Mm-hmm.
It's like mwah, mwah, it's like a beautiful Russian girl. And this one is Polish because this is how Polish girls are. They are strong and they get the job done and they don't give a shit. They can do everything.
Yeah.
And they're slim. And
it's a beautiful guitar, man.
Yeah. Maybe I'll call her Claudia.
Claudia.
Or Agnieszka.
That's
I don't know. I'll think about it. That's all those names. Anyway, I love it.
Nice.
Cool. I don't know. Should we talk about other stuff or?
Yeah, let's. Well, one thing, the last musical request is I remember that you played like Forever Young.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Do you mind if I do a request for Forever Young?
I can do it, man.
Yeah,
I can do it.
This is one of the ones I've seen Dean perform, and
cool.
It was a beautiful rendition. So, thanks y'all for watching. This has been a pleasure to get to know Dean. He's got pearls of wisdom. He's a true.
Thank you.
Like, I think he lives his purpose. He lives his truth. And for someone to be able to look in the mirror every day and say, I know who I am, and I'm conquering, my doubts, and I'm facing my fears, and I'm winning,
Thanks so much for saying that. I really appreciate you saying that. Because you're doing basically the same stuff. You're pushing your life, and you're here by yourself, fucking far away from your country, and if something goes wrong, no one's gonna help you. You need to fix it yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're all in this thing together. I really appreciate being here.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
This is what it's like: collaboration and mutual support, and we're building bridges. We're connecting cultures, and this is the reason why I think we've decided to face such a bumpy road at times, is because there's so many moments that you find that give you strength to go on, and that give you the hope that there's going to be a better future,
Yeah, but one thing that we both know, and maybe they don't know, is that even the shittiest day when you're doing what you love is still better than a very nice, mediocre life that doesn't make you happy.
Mm-hmm.
Even the shittiest month of the year, when you're fucking scraping the what's left and you're eating potatoes every fucking day, we all doing that. I do that, you do that, we all do that. It's still so much better when you come home with 20 euros from busking. It's still better than not doing it. So you find your way to do what you love.
That's right.
Cool.
All right.
Sorry, I need to tune this thing. Perfect, sweet. All right, let's do it like this here. Yeah, my little beautiful Polish girl is slowly getting into the zone. All right, I'm gonna play you this song. It's a very important song for me. Takes me to high school. Yeah. Let's install, let's dance for a while. Heaven can wait, we only watch in the skies. Hoping for the best but expecting the worst. Are you gonna drop the bomb or not? Let us die young or let us live forever. We don't have the power but we never say never. Sitting in a sound pit, life is a short trip. The music's for the sad man. Can you imagine the racing world? Put on God on the faces into the sun. Praising our leaders, we're getting into music's played by the madman. Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do you really wanna live forever, forever and ever? Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do you really wanna live forever, forever and ever? Some are like the water, some are like the heat. Some are the melodies, some are the beat. Sooner or later we all be gone. Why didn't they stay young? It's so hard to get out without a cause. I don't wanna perish like a fleet horse. Youth's like the diamonds in the sun, and diamonds are forever. So many adventures couldn't happen today. So many songs we forgot to play. So many dreams gathered out in the bloom. Let them come true, let them come true. Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do you really wanna live forever, forever and ever? Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do you really wanna live forever, forever and ever? Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do you really wanna live forever, forever and ever? Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do you really wanna live forever, forever and ever? Thank you. Yeah.
Woo!
Cheers. Hit me, man.
Amazing.
Yeah, you're amazing.
Love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
All right, so moving forward, we got Dean.
Thank you.
This is Dean is Home. He's on all the platforms.
Listen to me on Spotify. Yeah.
That's right.
Or YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube,
Follow me on
Spotify.
Instagram. Dean
Follow
is
him on
Home.
Instagram. Yeah, Dean, as you know, his story from Bulgaria, decided to be a musician when he was in his teens
Yeah.
and faced a lot of resistance to the life, and
True.
you know, decided to make it his mission to do this with his whole being, and the result is years of touring, of performing, of recording, and the catalog of your music online, and everything is.
I just like to make music, yo, and we need to we need to find what we like and we do it. So I'm happy if you like it, happy if you follow me, and I'm very happy if you come to Warschauer Straße and buy a CD.
Yeah, come to Warschauer Straße. Thanks again, everybody. This was a beautiful and informative podcast. The fourth one we've done, and definitely going to have Dean back as we evolve. So thanks again, and we wish you lots of happy days and discovering your purpose, which is
finding what you like. Brian, thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
It was amazing.
It's very nice to revisit those moments.
Yeah.
See you soon.
See you soon. Ciao.
Yeah.
The outro.
Yeah.
Sick. Okay.